Hi all, welcome back to more Labyrinth, playing the extended campaign, so this will be part 37 I believe. Okay, same day, let's be back for a couple of parts hopefully, before work in the morning, but not too early, so I should get a couple of parts done here. Yeah, so I was browsing over my hand, it's our turn, I was browsing over my hand, I was checking a bit about militia. I mean, mostly they work the same as troops. However, you don't get prestige. They only can disrupt one cell. There's a couple other things. I mean, when checking for war of ideas and regime change country, they apply, and for major jihad, they apply. So yeah, they're a lot like troops, but they don't. Also, anything that mentions troops, they're not troops, obviously. Okay, so what I was looking about and like, what am I going to do? And I'm worried about this. Obviously, my prestige needs to be up, and then I say, well, can't I sort of try and do something about it? That's why it's neutral to stop it going from adversary. Well, that requires a war of ideas there, but they've got 3 reaction markers in there. So even if I get this up out of there, I'm going to be rolling my -3 in Morocco unless I can start putting some awakening markers in there. I mean, I do have 2 or 3 cards that place awakening markers, but you know I'm going to have to get about 3 of them. Yeah, and then I also thought, I was looking at the Iranian elections card again, thinking that sounds quite good because we got to flip around to the Shia mixed country, and then I'm starting to think, well, we're turning that into another Muslim country. Is that? But it places 2 awakening markers, obviously for us, and then 1 reaction marker at place. And then it's -1 funding, and it sets it to fair adversary. Now, the WMD, I flipped the mat to the other side, and it's still got the skull and crossbones, so then there's nothing to say that the WMD goes away, so the WMD starts there. But the really bad part about that is it's fair, but it's adversary. And we know what that means. There's not, we can't do anything in there. We can't, yeah, we can't try to do anything, even though we've got 2 awakening markers against their 1 reaction marker. So I'm starting to wonder if that's not such a good idea after all. So then looking, I thought, we've got these troops here. I don't want them there, I want them back on the track, but that feels like a sort of, yeah, okay, we'll do that when we can. There's more important things, and obviously I think this is probably a priority. We'd like to get this out of the low box, so that requires a 3-ops card. We've not got any 3-ops cards, so there's that as well. Now, one thing I did notice, you maybe notice I've got this nudged down a bit. One thing I did look at, this is playable just now. Play if a 1 resource value country has 2 or more cells. No, what am I talking about? Sorry. Yeah, I'm talking rubbish. I'm thinking that by moving these troops, I move the troops before and then, but the cells are still there. It's only asking if there's cells there, Grant. And yeah, there's 6 cells in Somalia. So this is unlikely to ever ever be unplayable. But it's a civil war and a Baziz regime marker there. I mean, the only thing I will say is it's Islamist rule anyway. So, in fact, can a Baziz regime marker be placed in an Islamist rule country? I'm not sure. Maybe it could still be useful at some point, but let me just double check that. Right. Well, I'm not sure. Well, if you look up the rule here, 8.4.3.2 about Baziz regime, a country with a Baziz regime marker requires only 1 successful jihad roll rather than 2 to shift it from poor governance to Islamist rule. Country may have at most one besieged regime marker. Remove the marker if governance shifts to good or Islamist rule. It's already Islamist rule. I mean, that Q is only saying play if a one resource value country has 2 or more cells. That's a one resource value country and it's got 2 or more cells. So the fact that it says remove the mark, when I'm talking besieged regime here, remove the marker if governance shifts to good or Islamist rule. So I don't know. Maybe it is allowed to be placed in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could sit there for quite some time. Now, could it? If I was to regime change there, would that not remove it? Regime change. No, it doesn't. It doesn't talk about removing any markers for that one. It would say for major jihad. Major jihad will say to remove besieged regime. Yeah, it does. Remove all regime change, besieged regime. What was I looking for? 7.3.4. Yeah, there's nothing there I can see about removing besieged regime. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything. I know that bit says remove it if it goes Islamist rule. So maybe there's something I'm missing that stops it from going in there. Sounds like it can go in there though. It's not going to be very useful, but if I was to regime change there down the line, if it's still sitting there and then they try to Islamist rule again, obviously it's going to be beneficial. So the other thing, place a civil war marker then. So this is the other thing we need to now hold on a minute here, because this is Islamist rule as well, and I want to say that while in a civil war, jihadist player may auto recruit in the country just as okay. No, hang on. When a civil war is triggered, perform the following. Test if unmarked. If good governance, make fair. If Islamist rule, make poor. Oh my, right. That's rather important, Grant. Okay, so this is a good thing for us. Oh dear. You're all slapping your foreheads right now, aren't you? Okay, and that's why you need to keep on top of the new rules, Grant. Okay, so let's read more about civil wars. I'll pause just now. Yeah, I was just double checking there because this is going to be it's a jihadist event. Obviously, it's going to trigger, and then there is some instructions in the event instruction table. But I read this already. It says priority to good, then fair, then poor. Select randomly among possibilities, but it has to be played if there's a one resource value country has 2 or more cells. There's only one, and it's Somalia. So there's no good, then fair, then poor to look at. So in actual fact, this is beneficial to us. Because, I mean, the bot really doesn't want to do this in an Islamist rule country. I mean, I thought maybe that a civil war couldn't happen in an Islamist rule country, but it's saying here that when a civil war is triggered, if Islamist rule, so it must be allowed. So several event cards call for the outbreak of civil war. A country already in civil war is not affected by another civil war. The ending of a civil war in a country does not prevent that same country from once more falling into civil war. Right, so when a civil war is triggered, perform the following. Test if unmarked. Well, it's not. If good governance, make fair. You can see it's Islamist rule. Can I just look at the rules? Why? Stop looking at the country, maybe. Where are we? Up there, but so where am I? If Islamist rule, make poor, otherwise leave governance as is. Do not adjust alignment. So it's going to be a poor adversary, but it's not going to be Islamist rule anymore. Which also means the 2 troops there can start bashing away at the cells, can they not? So maybe I don't want to move these cells, the troops. What else have we got? Place a Civil War mark in the bottom centre of the country's space. Replace, here we go, maybe. Yeah, the troops get replaced, I think. Replace all awakening markers with an equal number of blue militia cylinders. Oh no, maybe not. Replace all reaction markers with an equal number of sleeper cells from funding track regardless of current funding. Remove any regime change marker, if any. Any pre-existing cells, cadres, troops, militia, Baziz regime, caliphate capital, caliphate country or aid markers remain. While in civil war, the jihadist player may auto-recruit in that country just if it were Islamist rule or regime change country. Yeah, because it says that on the marker. It's got auto-recruit on it. I mean, I've got to feel that some of this is bad. Well, hang on. We then need to consider attrition, don't we? I don't know if I want to play. I mean, it's a jihadist card. Do I want to be playing this? I mean, it's not that I really need to remove the Islamist rule here, but it is an opportunity to do it. So, attrition immediately follows polarisation. Check for attrition in each civil war country. Each player counts the number of pieces in the civil war country. Ah, yeah, okay, I remember now. Militia and troops, or cells. Each group of 6 pieces inflicts 1 hit on the other player. For groups of 5 or less pieces, you roll a die. If the result is less than or equal to the number of pieces, an additional hit is inflicted. Yeah, I was a bit baffled by that at first, as maybe a lot were, but I've got that sus now. Right now, if we were to have an attrition there, they would do 1 hit on us because they've got 6. We would roll a dice. We've got 2. We would roll a d6. If the result is less than or equal to the number of pieces, an additional hit is inflicted. So I think they would do us 1 hit, and these are simultaneously, aren't they? Yeah, hits are resolved simultaneously. So they would assign 1 hit for sure. We would roll a die, and if we rolled a 1 or 2, we would assign 1 hit to them. And then we'd resolve the hits, and the hits, it says, US player removes 1 militia or troop per hit. Jihadist player removes 2 cells per hit if any troops or advisors are present, or 1 cell per hit if only militia are present. Rolling for attrition does not make cells go active, nor do they have to be active to be taken as a loss. Okay. Yeah. If hits inflicted exceed the number of enemy pieces, each fulfilled hit shifts that country's alignment 1 box towards ally for unfulfilled US hits, or towards adversary for unfulfilled jihadist hits. Or if already ally adversary will adjust governance 1 level towards good, or 1 level towards Islamist rule. Note that a change to good or Islamist rule will end the civil war. Okay, so I think that's what. See, a change to good or Islamist rule ends the civil war, and we are putting a civil war in an Islamist rule country. Mind you, it does say that if it's Islamist rule, you make it poor. Okay, that's really interesting and spiced things up a bit. So, and we've got another card that mentions civil war in it as well, but it looked like there was an awful lot of text in that. So this is a bit simpler. So, and you can see the point about the Baziz regime marker going now, because it's not going to be Islamist rule. So if I was to play that, place the civil war marker, that goes poor adversary. And we're right at the beginning, this is the first play of the turn. Can't we then, remember the country is going to be poor, so you're going to have to use a three ops to do a disrupt in there. As long as we can get below 6, though, it's a sort of fight. It's a die roll in the attrition phase, isn't it? Okay, I guess I'm just finding sort of things to do. So maybe don't want the troops going away with that. Well, I probably don't. Thing is, you could still move them away and put it back to poor. Then they're going to just do a major jihad there again, aren't they? So there's no real point in that. In fact, if I put that back to poor, they're going to have 4 more cells than troops. They need 5. They're probably going to look at that again, aren't they? Okay, what's this other card that's involving... Right, play if in one of the following if poor, right? I think there's quite a few choices there, right? So it'd be place 1 cell or +1 funding. Yeah, no, there's a bunch of stuff in this event instruction, isn't there? 169. So it says here, choose Caliphate or Civil War if possible. Choose funding if funding less than 8, else place cells. If funding greater than 7 and no cells available, treat as unplayable. If funding greater than 7 and no cells available, treat as unplayable. Ugh, that's a headache, that one, isn't it? Can we work out what it's going to do? So place 1 cell or +1 funding. If country is in civil war, right, I thought that's not putting a country in civil war. If country is in civil war, part of caliphate, place 2 cells or +2 funding. Rule Serbia's posture. All travel to within Schengen countries must rule. Ugh, that's a really complex card. Yeah, I don't think I want to play that card. I think I'd sooner play the Boston Marathon. That's rolling US posture, mind you, but... Right, I don't think I want to play this card, so we'll set that aside for now. But the Q one, I could see... Oh, shoot! Right, I don't know if it's still recording. Camera's going to blow up. I think it's still recording. Right, give me a second. Right, we're back. I may try and edit that out if it's just the camera falling down. It came right off the tripod. So so what was I saying there? I don't know. I'm not sure. Right, that just threw me. Right, I think what I'm going to do first is just do a disrupt operation in Pakistan, I think. I mean, I can come back to playing this Q card. Or, well, to be honest... No, I think I'll just use smartphone. I'm limited to... I'm really, like, I've got 3 1-ops cards and 4 2-ops cards. And 3 of them are Islamist rule. 2 of them playable. Well, no, all 3 of them playable, actually. But the Q1, I think we're maybe up for having a go at. Yeah, I don't think I should play this, should I? I thought at first, 2 awaken into 1 reaction, -1 funding, fair adversary, and then I never thought about it. And it's when I thought, wait now, fair adversary? And remember, there's what we can do in an adversary country. Yeah, we can't operate there. I don't know if I'm missing something obvious, but we can't. The only thing that we can do there is remove plots. Just looking back here again, I mean, out of all the operations we've got, War of Ideas needs neutral or ally. Disrupt needs ally or country with at least 2 troops. So if I had troops, maybe. Aware, I could remove a plot, fair enough. Deploy, so if I want to deploy troops, it needs to be ally Muslim. And then regime change, it needs to be Islamist rule. Withdraw, I could withdraw troops from it. But that's it. So having an adversary country is not a good idea unless you've got a card that can deal with that. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be a card in the deck, but there's certainly not a card in my hand. So I'm going to go with not wanting that card. So, yeah, and let's declare your operation, Grant, then. Yeah, I was just watching back the bit where I swithered about, what was it? Disrupting or withdrawing? No, deploying or withdrawing. Fortunately, it wasn't I mean, it was still done wrongly, because I need to declare this operation first, but... So I'm going to do a disrupt operation. Again, I'm still not 100% sure if I need to declare where I'm doing it and whatever. I left that question sort of in that video that I just watched, which would be... Well, that's the one I just put up, 31, I think. Because I'm not 100% sure if I need to say right now that I'm going to disrupt in Pakistan. I mean, I might. To be honest, that is the only place I can... No, possibly not. No, I think it is. It's the only country I can carry out a disrupt, so... Yeah. I mean, I could do that coup down here and then try it here, but... Well, I'm going to need 3 ops down there as well. I mean, I wonder if you're going to play the coup, should you not concentrate on disrupting down here? Because you don't want to come at that attrition at the end and be outnumbered by cells. Well, that would... Well, play the coup. Well, yeah, here's well, I can put this into reserves though, but I think this is something that Jean was talking about, that I'm going to declare I think this is exactly what he was talking about. If I say I'm going to disrupt in Somalia, right, I can't, because it's Islamist rule. So I think this is a perfect example. Now, when it comes to time to carry out my disrupt, if it's not Islamist rule, I go carry on with the disrupt. If it is Islamist rule still, then I can't do the action and I lose the ops. I think that's what you're saying, John. I'm going to play it safer, but let's just see, if that was your... Well, actually, no, I think I have to, don't I? And no, I don't. I don't, because I can put this in reserves and trigger the event. Then play this card for 2 ops, taking the reserves and playing it legally while it's poor. Yeah. Disrupt. Normal ally a country with at least 2 troops. But remember, I was hunting about for, like, oh, we must be able to disrupt in here because it's Islamist rule, but it says... You pointed out to me, didn't you? 7.1.1, I want to say, is ringing a bell. Yeah. And that's where it tells you that Islamist rule. The only thing you can do is regime change only, using a 3 card. That's the only thing you can do there. So, well, yeah, there's that example. So, are you saying, John, that I could declare... I mean, it might be slightly different to what you were talking about. So I think you were mainly talking about the actual amount of ops that you would need. Or is that the same? I declare a disrupt operation in Somalia right now. And then what I do is I put this into reserves. Then I play this. Then I trigger this event. And then I've got 3 ops. This is at poor, a disrupt. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm leaving that there. If you say that that's how you think it is, or if anybody else wants to comment on that, what I'm going to do is play this Q card and put in the reserves. Now, putting a card in reserves, I don't need to declare. That's what I'm doing, isn't it? I'm not needing to declare an operation right now, am I? No. So we're going to play this Q card to add to reserves. And I'm just going to add the reserves first. And then we'll trigger the event. I'm a bit worried about doing this. I think it might not be a good idea, but let's do it. So, right, well, this is triggering as the event. Card 165. Right, 165Q. There have been many attempts and many more opportunities for armed groups to seize the reins of power during and after the Arab Spring. Okay, and then, like I say, the event instruction table for this card, 165, states the priority it wants is good, then fair, then poor, then select randomly among possibilities. But it has to be a 1 resource value country that has 2 or more cells, and the only one is Somalia. Right, just checking. Syria's got cells, it's 2 resources. Pakistan's got cells, it's 2 resources, and the only other place for cells is Italy, so that doesn't count. Okay, so we're going to place a civil war and a Baziz regime marker there. Are you sure you're doing this, Grant? Yeah, let's do it. Right, civil war. Right, here we go. Civil war, but you can see they will auto-recruit into this country. I can maybe put the troops there, put the civil war. It's meant to go in the bottom middle, I think it says. But, I mean, you can see you're a bit pushed for things. And a Baziz regime as well. Is that one of them? Yeah. Just be able to squeeze that in at the side there. Right. So, I mean, all the things aren't good. But when... Well, actually, is it not in the play raid? That should be it. On the back of the flow chart. I guess it's going to tell me about civil wars. Here we go. So, civil war. When a civil war is triggered, perform the following. So, that's us carried out the instructions on the card. And we're going to perform the following. Right, test if unmarked. Well, it's marked already. It says Islamist rule adversary. Okay? If good governance, make fair. If Islamist rule, make poor. Otherwise, leave governance as it is. Do not adjust alignment. So it becomes poor, right? And while we're triggering that, I'm just going to remove 1 resource for them, because that's what Somalia was. No need to adjust this because it went from Islamist rule to poor. So that should be the same, right? That should be right. Okay, moving on. Place a civil war mark in the bottom centre country space. Right, I've done that already. Sorry, yeah, okay, we should have come to that. Replace all awakening markers with an equal number of blue militia. There's none. Replace all reaction markers with an equal number of sleeper cells from the funding track, regardless of funding. There's none. Remove any regime change marker, if any. There's none. Any pre-existing cells, cadres, troops. Well, we've got cells and troops. And, well, we're putting a Baziz regime in. They all get left. Okay? So that's what we end up with now in Somalia. Now, we've also got to remember that come the end of the turn, we're going to have this attrition nonsense. Right, that was my first card play. So, and then now it's legal for me to declare I'm just going to play this because I don't think I want to play it. I did think so at first, but... So I'm going to play this for 2 ops. And I'm going to grab the reserve for 3 ops. And I'm going to do a disrupt operation in Somalia. Civil war end. Next steps. On the conclusion of civil war, perform the following. Move on my mission. Right, okay. Yeah, and I don't think anything more happens regarding the civil war. Like, what I'm trying to do here right now, disrupt, there's nothing, I don't believe there's anything that stops me from doing that or hampers me in any way. There's nothing on the player aid here, and I don't think there's anything in the rules when I look at civil war. Well, while in civil war, the jihadist player may auto-recruit in the country just as it were Islamist rule. It's got auto-recruit on it. So it's just another auto-recruit country. What's okay, that's not good when I'm trying to take cells out of there, but anyhow. Right, so we're doing a disrupt. I've got the 3 ops, and well, basically we're taking 2 of them away. And because we've got troops, we're going to gain a prestige. I mean, clearly I wish I had 2 3 ops cut. Well, mind you, I needed the event to do that thing, didn't I? So you can let me know if, Jean, that's one of the ways you were thinking about being able to do that. Be kind of cheeky nonsense where, the country's not valid for the operation you want to do at the time. You might have just been talking about if it was unmarked. I know you were saying that, so it might just be that. Maybe what I'm talking about there isn't still legal because it was Islamist rule at the time, and you can't declare that operation there. I don't know. But I think you can see what I'm asking, maybe just to see if there's anything in that. Right, that's my 2 card plays. Now, that was played not for event. That was played for event, but it's just going to the discard pile. So they're both going to the discard pile. And I forgot about my prestige. Because it was 2 troops. Remember, we've done a disrupt. If 2 troops affected 2 cells, they were both active, so they were removed, and I had 1 prestige, which we've done. No, that's fine. I was going to say there's a plot out there, isn't there? Shoot. I think that's my first card plays, isn't it? So it's going off now. Oh, there's no troops. We're fine. Relax, Grant. Okay, so yes, there's a plot in Italy, although there was some bad nonsense, the fact that this is not a Muslim country, wasn't there? I think it was going to just... No, it's going to spread some testing, isn't it, in Schengen countries or something. Well, we're doing that now. I've got 5 cards left. That's right, that was my first 2 card plays for the turn then. Okay, so we're going to resolve plots. There is one here. So let's do that. Alright, so just looking at this off camera rather than... I mean, you've seen it all before as well. I should stop trying to show everything on the camera. I can just read it myself. So this is a non-Muslim country other than the US. Well, we need to reveal the plot anyway. So... here we go. Right, it's not a WMD, so it's a plot number 2. So that's going to go up in that resolve plots box. So plot number 2, so it says add the plots number to funding, add twice the plots number if the country is at good. So the country is at good, so we would be adding 4 to funding right now. It can only go to 9. Okay, right, the next bullet is if the country has troops, -1 prestige or prestige to 1 if WMD. Again, we're coming back down here. Italy, the country does not have troops, so nothing happens. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong bit. I was looking at Muslim country. Right, so coming back, right, we've done the first bullet for non-Muslim with the funding. The second bullet is role posture. And if it was a WMD, jihadists may reroll 1, so it wasn't a WMD, and well, that's only a 2-player thing, right? If Schengen, jihadist selects 2 other Schengen countries and rolls their posture. So we roll posture for that first then, do we? 5.6. If the plot is in a non-Muslim country, roll the country's posture. If in the Schengen area, the jihadist side selects 2 other Schengen countries and rolls their postures. Right, so they 2 things are going to happen. So with to roll the country's posture, Italy, it's hard, and to be honest, we're quite happy with it not being hard anymore. So, yeah, that's beneficial to us, I think. Now, hold on. Well, I don't think the bot can do anything about this bit. I think what he can do is when picking the Schengen countries, go and pick the two soft ones. But right now, the pot was placed in that country through event. It had to be a hard country. Yeah, I think that's fine. So rolling posture for Italy, which is that hard at the moment. So 1 to 4 it'll go soft. 5 to 6 it'll stay hard. Right, okay, so it stays hard anyway. Bummer. Okay. Right, now it wants to select, because this is a Schengen country, it wants to select 2 other Schengen countries. And it wants to roll their posture. I'm not sure. I mean, right, hold on here. If you're the player, yeah, see, surely if it's you playing as the bot, man, sorry, if you playing as jihadist player right now, you're picking Scandinavia and Germany, aren't you? I don't think I need to. Is it not just as straightforward as that, Grant? Because these rules that I'm reading out are not for the solo player. Removing troops or militia. Placing ports. That's for placing ports. The only thing in this, within the solo side of things, is this bit that I've looked at quite a bit recently. The setting or rolling for posture. So the bot knows right now it's going to roll for posture. So when an event instructs to set, select, or roll for posture, this bot always selects countries with the same posture as the US. Yeah. Yeah, because it says, if Schengen, jihadist selects 2 other Schengen countries. Right, well that's it, Grant. That clears it there. You know, I was thinking we might be looking at flow charts and whatever to try and find things, but it's wanting to pick the countries with soft posture. So yeah, this is kind of bad for us, but well, hopefully the die rolls might not go so high this time. So you can see that it's not going to pick Spain because like it picks the same posture first, then unmarked, then the opposite, isn't it? Is that not what it says? So it's countries with the same posture, then unmarked, and always sets posture to the opposite of US posture. Yeah, it's not setting posture here, it's just rolling on. So let's roll in Scandinavia first. So there's only the 2, Scandinavia, Germany. UK is not part of the Schengen countries. So Scandinavia first. Yeah, and we're hoping for low die rolls here then. So 1 to 4, it'll stay soft. Okay, that's good. And then Germany next, same again. Good. Okay, we survived that one then. So basically, none of the 3 countries that were rolled on changed the posture. So this is still at too soft. Okay, good. That could have been a lot worse, I think. Right, and then finally, that's it. It's just a clarification there. Whereas that was the posture stuff. Prestige, yeah. Tell us about prestige here. Yeah, I should have read that clarification a bit clearer then. Huh? But I mind you, it's talking about non-museum country, right enough. Yeah, so it says clarification. There is a -1 prestige effect if the plot is resolved in a non-museum country with troops. This is accordance with... No, there's only one... Yeah, it's telling you that the only place this can happen is the Philippines, isn't it? Where... and if this event's in play, which it is. So if that was the case... I mean, we weren't involved in that. That, if we had troops in there, then that's the only time that they could gain prestige. Could hit my prestige when it's a non-Muslim country. Okay. Right, that's that. I think that was okay. So that's that plot away, and like I say, it's up in this area. So I'll not come back down until the end of turn part thing. Right, okay. Right, pushing on, 40 minutes. Right, I'm going to get one part in here, and then better. Dogs need fed, and so I'm going to do that after we finish this part. So yeah, so my prestige is okay. Good. Okay. Yeah, that was annoying. That did spoil things back then, because that might have changed. It certainly would have changed at least one operation that I'd done, maybe more than that. But I suppose in some ways the other WMD coming along and with the troops and wiping it out sort of balanced it out. But okay, right. So back to the jihadist spot. Let's see. Well, Civil War stuff and anything else. Hang on a second. Just remembering. I think the two. Well, actually, is it not in the play raid, Grant? It must have been the play raid. This stuff. The two things that I want to keep an eye on are convergence and disengagement. I think it is. Oh, and we should. Well, that's another new rule. These are new rules. So each time a country becomes good or Islamist rule, that didn't happen in that turn. We turned an Islamist rule country to poor. And the other one is every time a country improves. Ooh. Is that an improving governance, going from Islamist rule to poor? For any reason. It would have removed an awakening marker, but hang on a second. Disengagement, 11.5. What was it? Where are we? 1.5. Why am I not finding a 1.5? Is that the wrong rule? 11.1.5. Sorry, that's my bad. Each time a country becomes either good or Islamist rule. No, is it that one? No, it's disengagement, Grant. Yeah, no, that's it. I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Disengagement. 1.1.5, it is indeed that. Every time a country improves its governance one level for whatever reason, including event effects, remove one awakening marker present. Shifts in alignment, do not. There's no. I mean, it is an improvement in governance, isn't it? Now, hold on. An awakening marker couldn't have been there if it was a Islamist rule anyway. But reading that, maybe that covers it all. The fact that we couldn't have had awakening or reaction markers in there while it was Islamist rule. Anyway, it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? So it has improved its governance, so the only thing that would happen is that. There's no awakening or reaction markers, right? Okay. What was I doing? Yeah, a new card for the bot. Yeah, I'll get 2 more cards here and then I'll take a little break. Yeah, I was thinking of just pausing there a second. What was the card there? Erdogan or something, wasn't it? Something like that. It was quite a complex thing. It was the one that adjacent to Turkey and all that. And you know how John I mentioned recently talked about using cubes? That would have been a perfect time to have done that. I mean, I totally missed this connection between Turkey and Iraq, being the two countries being adjacent, which I spoke about before and thought I'm going to miss that, and I did. Fortunately, we caught up with it right at the last minute. But I spent quite a bit of time going through the flow charts, looking at all the different adjacent countries, and it might have been a good idea to use just a red cube to, like, say, right, Russia's out. You know, Russia was one of the ones that didn't want to put a red cube there or something. And then maybe a green cube on countries that were possibly involved and carry on with there. So I think that would have been a good card to have done that with. So yeah, it's quite a good idea for some of these things. I might start bringing some of that in, because that was a bit brain burny, that card. It was starting to, and you were just worried about making a wee simple mistake. Right, let's go, Grant, come on. Oh, that's... hang on a sec. Right, I got the feeling that's my dog starting to react to let me know that it's now time to feed them. This was the car. Was this not blocked, or... Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, that was blocked event. That doesn't really matter, but what does it do? Place one awakening marker in Gulf states blocked by Bloody Thursday. Yeah, well, they're not interested in playing it anyway. So it's 1 ops. They've got, just looking up, they've got 1 in reserves. Okay, but this is now not Islamist rule, but it's 1 to 4 more cells and troops. So just keep that one in mind. We've also got a cell in Italy and other things. Yeah, things have changed a little bit. So 1 ops, and they've got 1 reserve. It's not a playable US event. As Major Jihad success at poor possible. Now remember, this could just easily go back to being taken over again, but it still seemed like it was worthwhile. But it's got the Baziz regime as well, but it's only got 4 cells to our 2 troops, so it needs another 3, is that? Needs 72. Yeah, it needs 5 more then. So no, it's funding time. No, is there a cell in good or fair? I don't think so still. Been a long time since... Well, actually, I say it's been a long time. That's not true. Pakistan was fair that time, just recently, and they knocked it to poor. Much to my... Yeah, because I was starting to think, right, we're going to disrupt in there. Now it's 3 ops, and then, of course, I drew my hand, and not 1 3 ops card in my hand, which wasn't good either. So, no, there's not a cell in a fair Muslim country. So, or good, for that matter. No. Is there poor Muslim 1 to 4 more cells and troops and militia where jihad success is possible? Yes. Oh, and it's got adjacent Syria. Yeah. That was interesting, though, because Syria took the cells out of Iraq, and now I think what's going to happen is they're going to travel back into Iraq now that Syria's Islamist rule, isn't it? Okay, so we've got 2 candidates here, though, haven't we? We've got Iraq, which has got 1 to 4 more cells and troops and militia where jihad success is possible, and we've got Somalia, which has got 1 to 4 more cells and troops where jihad success is possible. And sorry, then they're both poor, yeah. So between the 2, well, actually, hold on, we've got to find the candidate first. Now, it used to always be, well, it might still be Somalia, because it's got this busy regime back again. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot more going on now. There's a lot more markers about and things happening. And so, yeah, we've got 2 candidates for this. So we need to find the travel 2 priority. So we need to come here. Is there a poor Muslim 1 to 4 more? Oh, yeah, clearly there is. So we stop there. We come here. Not Islamist rule. No, we're looking between Iraq and Somalia, Grant. So not Islamist rule is fine. Pakistan, no. Baziz regime, right? So that takes away the travel 2 then. I think that still works, doesn't it? This is a yes. We've got 2 candidates. Among the candidates, find the travel 2 priority. Travel 2 priority is Somalia. Is there a movable cell adjacent? No. The thing is, if the travel to priority is Iraq, there is a movable cell adjacent. But it does say, I think we're okay with that, aren't we? I don't see why we should be backtracking to look at Iraq right now. Because it's got an adjacent cell. I mean, again, I'm just following the flow chart. I mean, if you were the player right now, you might sort of say, right, okay, the best move for me is to travel these adjacent into Iraq. But I think, going by the flow chart, I don't think that's what it's wanting to do. Among candidates, these two, find the travel to priority, here, Bazzi's regime. Is there a cell adjacent? No. Is funding moderate? No. Is there a cell available? Yes. Going to recruit? Yeah, I'm sticking with that. I think that seems fine. And yeah, let the bot maybe do things bad that aren't perfect. Because I'm getting hammered here anyway. So is there a poor moves on 1 to 4? Well, we know that there is to recruit. We know it's Bazzi's regime. So we know it's Somalia. Yeah, after me just removing the 2 cells. Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder about this now. Oh, and these are auto-recruit as well. No, that doesn't come into it there at all, but that makes it worse. Oh my, yeah, it does. So auto recruit wasn't the priority. The priority was 1 to 4 more cells and troops. It didn't come into auto recruit. It did find Bazzi's regime between Iraq and Somalia. That's Bazzi's regime. So it's now going to attempt to recruit into this country, Somalia. But the civil war there, so it's got auto recruit. It's got a 1 ops card. It's going to use the reserve and it's going to grab 2 cells and automatically recruit them into Somalia. So now 6 to 2. So it's still 1 short of a thing, but I mean, that could easily have been a 2 ops card there and then there would have been 7. Well, I suppose we got away with that then. Yeah, and it's going to be hard for us to just keep disrupting in there, in particular when it's pure adversary. I'm not able to move this. I've got the 2 troops, fair enough, but I've got to use a 3 ops card every time. And now it's sleeper cells coming in, of course, which makes it even slower. That's probably going back quite soon, isn't it? Right, that was their first card play as well, wasn't it? Right, so 1 more. And they used up the reserve there as well, so... Right, 3 ops jihadist. Boko Haram. In Nigeria, place a level 2 or 3 plot, or place up to 3 cells. Each time this event is played, the jihadist player may return this card to hand by discarding a non-US associated 3 ops card. Sounds really good, but I'm guessing there's going to be some talk in the event instruction table. 186. Okay, what we got? 186. Right, yeah, there's a bit involved in this. So Boko Haram. Right. Zoom out a little bit, I think, didn't it? So if non-Muslim, hang on. Yeah, because zooming out again. It's in Nigeria, but it's non-Muslim just now. But remember that can flip to Muslim, so that's why it's stating that. So coming back here again, 186. If non-Muslim, priority is to plot 3, then plot 2, then cells. If Muslim, priority to cells, then plot 3, then plot 2. do not return to hand. Oh, okay. Let's just skipping that bit. So, but it does have different priorities depending on if it's Muslim or non. But it's a level 2 or 3 pot, or place up to 3 cells. Each time this event is played, Chaz player may return this card to hand by discarding. Yeah, so it's just skipping that last bit, but it's fine with still playing it. Right, okay. This is going to be a playable event. So 186. Right, okay, 186 Boko Haram. The Chibok schoolgirl kidnapping on the night of 14th of April 2014 put this movement on the map, though not in this game, since Nigeria was not represented geographically. A decision was made midway through alpha testing to add Nigeria and then Mali to the map as new countries via country maps and create a few more West Africa related event cards. This unique nature of this event card allows for the sudden surge of Boko Haram in the game without the need for multiple event cards covering the movement. Okay, so they're playing this event, Boko Haram, Sub-Saharan jihadists activate. Right, so I'm just looking at the event instruction table off camera there to carry out this 186. So it's non-Muslim. It's non-Muslim, Nigeria. So it's wanting to plot 3, then plot 2, then cells. Why is it saying all 3? So hang on, place a level 2 or 3 plot, or place up to 3 cells. Well, okay. Am I right in thinking here that I'm going to have to go and look at all the plots? Because the plot that we've got revealed up in the, like, what's not available is a 2. So I'm guessing there must be a 3 up there in the available. So, does this... It says place a level 2 plot, or a level 3 plot, or place up to 3 cells. It's one of the 3 options, isn't it? I think I was thinking it was more than that. Place a level 2 or 3 plot. So there's just one plot or 3 cells. And the plot's either going to be a 2 or a 3. Why would you not pick a 3? Why? Because it was wanting to... if Muslim, it was different, wasn't it? If Muslim... No, it still wants to... Well, if Muslim, it wants to place the cells before the plot 3, then the plot 2. So if non-Muslim, priority to plot 3. Then if there's no plot 3s up there, I have to pick a plot 2. And if there happen to be no plot 2s, then cells. And that's why all that's important for these going up here, I guess. Yeah, okay, so we're going to pick a plot 3. And, well, I mean, there's going to be one here. So let me find the plot 3 and just put these back randomly. And that's probably best, I think. Unless there's not a plot. Well, there must be, surely. Because, yeah, there must be. Well, that was fortunate. I just flipped over this one at the end here, right? I mean, well, you can trust me all you want. I mean, I can do what I want with these. But I just flipped over this one, and it was the plot 3, which sort of saves me a little time. I don't need to, like, shuffle all these up, right? And like I say, you know, if you think I went through them all and looked at them all, then what would be the point of all this? You know, I can pause the camera and do what I want. So yeah, it's pointless. So we've got a plot 3, and that's going in Nigeria. And I mean, well, technically, I suppose you should put it face down because it then tells you how to alert it. So I suppose. I'm just worried that if I go away now and come back, I'm like, oh, what's that? What is it? It's a plot. I don't think that's too bad for us, though, because we just resolved one. Hey, now I'll tell you what, we need to test this posture. So that's relevant. I'm assuming I've got to test its posture if we're placing a plot there, surely. Initial test. When any operation, cell placement, or test targets a country with a blank governance or posture. Well, this is an operation, isn't it? It's place. No, does it say event? Any operation, cell placement, or test. Well, that's none of these three things. Because this isn't really a plot operation, even though it's putting a plot. I'm pretty sure you've been silly, Grant. You've got to test this, but back at the beginning of the game, there was a Bouzi's regime marker starts in Somalia, and it's untested. And I scratched my head at that for a while. So, is it possible this plot could be in here without being tested? I mean, I don't think so, but... Yeah, it says initial test. When any operation, cell placement... The thing is, the last priority was to place 3 cells there. That would have done it, so surely this does it as well. Cell placement or test targets a country with a blank governance or posture. It's not telling me to do that. 4.9.4, that I'm just reading that from the player aid, so let's give the rulebook a look. See if that branches out anymore. 4.9.4, initial tests. Whose governance or posture is not yet marked is selected as the locale or target of an operation, including a failed travel operation. Yeah, I made the mistake of that one in the past. Or has a cell... lovely. Or has a cell or plot placed in it by then. That'll do it. Right. So let's test it then. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like probably common sense, but yeah, I'm not going to say what I think about common sense. Okay, so we're going to do a posture test, and we want this to be soft, don't we? Yeah, so 1 to 4 it's soft, 5 to 6 it's hard, because it's non-moves on mine. 1 to 4 it's soft. Yes, I like it. Okay, so Nigeria's coming in soft. Where are we? Oh, there. And it's got a 3 plot. I will keep it face down. I will remember. Right, that's gone up to 3. Good. That should be right. We will double check come the time, but anyway. Right, I think that's it. So, wasn't it? So in Nigeria, yeah, place a level 2 or 3 plot or place up to 3 cells. And the priority for the event table was place up level 3 plot first, which we've done. Each time an event is played, Jazz player may return this card to hand by discarding a non-US associated 3-ops card. The instruction table says to ignore that. It doesn't put the card back in its hand. Okay, that's the 2 card plays. Just both going to discard. We've got a plot to resolve, but that will happen, hopefully, if I remember it, after my next 2 card plays. But I'm going to take a break just now and go feed my dogs. And yeah, okay. I'll be back in a bit. Cheers.